Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 2 of the NA Masters. My name is Bach. Joining me on the broadcast, and they're going to be here all weekend long, Veli and Vansili, to break down the action here on the analyst desk. Yesterday, we already saw 2 teams knocked down into the lower bracket, but we've got more matches in store for you today. But Alex, before we talk about today, let's break down yesterday real quick. What happened?
Some very interesting and fun matches yesterday, actually. A one-sided affair, unfortunately, for the FaZe and XSET matchup. We saw resurgence and dominance of FaZe clans since the VCTs, since the open qualifiers, the closed qualifiers into now, to be like that dark horse moving up.
Veli, looking at this bracket here, we can see the results of yesterday's matches. Is either one of these games actually that surprising, or did things kind of move along the way that we expected them to go? I think we may have lost Veli here for a second. We'll get him back in just a second. But taking a look at this bracket, Alex, you know, we saw Gen G lose that series. It was actually somewhat surprising, though, right, with Envy taking the 2-1.
Exactly. I think just to chime in, I think to what Veli was trying to say, because in-game, it didn't look the same for the results, right? For Gen G and Envy. We expected an Envy win, but when you look at that second map on Icebox, Envy got dominated on that map. So that means that Gen G, they came in prepared, they were looking good, and getting knocked down, facing off against XSET, it's still going to be a very close battle for these two teams to move forward into the Masters 1.
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, we got you.
I got you.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. My mic was messed up, man. Yeah, pretty much. Vansili, he's like a brother of mine, so he read my mind. But
brother from another mother.
You already know, man. This is pretty much what we expected. But yesterday, the games didn't go the way we expected from what we saw, though. We saw a lot of beautiful things happening. And talking to Sean Garris last night, he brought up a point. What we saw from a mechanical movement aspect from players like Baby Bay Production knows exactly what I'm talking about. We saw movement that has just been out of control and has raised a big question. Valorant's changing, man, and we're witnessing history right now. So to see big plays happen like this today, which I'm pretty sure we will, because there's going to be a special player joining us on this broadcast, today is going to be one for the ages, Bach.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the way that play broke down yesterday, you profiled it, these like high-profile plays. Players getting 3Ks, 4Ks, flying around the map. Ooh. It's a lot more aggressive of a play style than maybe we've been used to seeing. And I think that one of the teams who has really helped create that play style is FaZe, who played yesterday. We watched them play in the finals of the last Challenger stage, and we also watched them play yesterday. And they play this super aggressive, in-your-face, we said it yesterday, swagger style of attack. And it works. It works so incredibly well for them. So, obviously, you know, XSET, they tried to put up some numbers early, but FaZe seemed to have their number from the get-go, Alex.
Yeah, and the last one we want to mention, at least for me, it's, of course, Envy. I did say that they lost pretty badly on Icebox, but overall, still getting good results on their third map versus Gen G, and good results on the first one. It shows how they're still that team to be afraid of. The team that we wanted to see during First Strike back in December. The team that looked dominant during the open and closed qualifiers of the Challengers week number 2. And now, potentially, at least for me, like I mentioned yesterday, the winners of Masters 1.
Yeah, there's just one more thing I'm going to throw up there, Bach. The thing is, we look at FaZe and Baby Bay in his ridiculous stat line. I think it was like 42 and 18 between the maps, right? But you look at Envy, and it was an equal effort from everybody involved. You saw Mummy popping off the last map, Boot and Crashies with their highlight plays, FNS with that man's big brain. What we saw from Envy as a complete unit, they're such a good team as a whole.
Well, looking at yesterday, we got kind of what we expected, but now we can take a peek at what we're going to see today, and we can start talking about our expectations that we can set. We can pull up our matches that we're going to see, and one of them to kick things off is a match we've already seen several times. Alex, you and I have casted this matchup. Yeah. Sentinels versus Luminosity.
Today, these two matchups are up in the air of who could actually win this one here. Is it going to be the Luminosity that came out during the Winners' Championship in January and surprised the world and surprised Sentinels by beating them in that series as well? I think they faced against each other 3 times now where they got the upper hand, but also Immortals and 100 Thieves. Is Immortals going to continue their reign of being trying to take away that #1 spot in North America, or how does 100 Thieves look now that they have Ethan in his lineup?
That's a great question, and that's something that we're still trying to find the answer to, is how does Ethan plug into that 100 Thieves roster? And over the long term, How does that affect things? We watched how it pulled Nitro out of a comfortable position playing Omen and how it impacted his play. But it's a comfortable agent for someone to play who's just getting into the game, coming in from Counter-Strike. So I wonder long-term whether we'll see Ethan switch to a duelist, allow Nitro to get back into that comfortable position. But we'll be getting to that match later. Let's shift focus to the very first match of the day. Sentinels versus LG. We've seen this match so many times, but I am excited to see what we're going to get here. As you can see, we're going to be starting off with Sentinels roster. 5 players with incredible skill sets and incredible talent inside the server. Alex, who are we looking at when you mention Sentinels? Who is a player in your mind that stands out?
Yesterday, I said that FaZe with their unorthodox playstyle is a talk of the town. Today, we have somebody that comes out from out of town, comes in here, is like, I'm here to play. It's going to be my man, Tense. It's been a while since we've seen him. He came, like his last match was with Cloud9, not making it to First Strike, has not competed since then, and now he's back with arguably the #1 team in North America. This is added firepower, Veli.
That is the most disgusting lineup in Valorant I have personally seen. Tens, along with the rest of the Sentinels roster. Okay, just for some context, for those of you that aren't caught up on Valorant yet, Sentinels is outright like a top 2 team in NA, probably the best out there, right? But then you add the best player when he did play competitively before he retired on that roster. I mean, this can go either really, really good or us just say, you know what, they need some time. I don't think this is going to be bad at all. And honestly, with this lineup, they look like a favorite already. This is rough.
If anything, the hype is there at least.
The hype is there, baby.
And that's the thing. I think we're going to see a lot of like high energy plays. We might see a little bit more individualistic play style, but that's worked for other teams. Look at how it worked yesterday for FaZe, where players just kind of shine through. I think we're going to see a lot, okay? And, you know, we're talking about Tens, but at the same point in time, there's other players on this team. Look at Sick. Sick actually was one of the top-rated players on this team, but he kind of fades into the background a little bit. And he's so incredibly versatile, playing sometimes 5 agents. When he played against LG in the best-of-5 finals in the Nursery Gamers Winter Championships, he played 5 agents across 3 roles. He played a duelist twice, an initiator twice, and a sentinel once. That is just like bonkers, and he's bouncing between them constantly. And he was still the top performer for the team. He still outperformed everyone else while he was doing that. But let's take a look at LG, because this is a team who has very much been on the rise. This roster has been stepping up massively since the start of 2021, Veli.
Yeah, this roster, okay, I have said it time and time again, and you agree with me, man. I believe that Luminosity is criminally underrated. And the question today is, if they win this game, what more do they have to prove to the people out there? A Proto, Stellar, and Thief has been the core of this roster, and they've made some vital team changes to bring in players such as Moose and your boy Dre, previously from 100 Thieves. Now, the thing is with this roster, there's a rivalry brewing. The reason why they're up top is because of their games against Sentinels, and Bach was talking about it, man. Once they beat Sentinels, the whole world was on notice. We all knew that LG was pretty much the real deal. They're a top 8 team now. The question is now, this is their biggest event ever for this Valorant roster. Are they really going to stick it to Sentinels and keep moving along? Or are they going to be that tier 2 team that some naysayers think they are still?
No, I think if you're looking at the map stats, at least for LG, they don't look that high. You know, it's like a 50% win rate pretty much in all of their map pool. The reason why is because they're still able to beat the top teams. They're able to beat the Envies. They're able to beat the 100 Thieves. They're able to beat the Sentinels, but they could also lose to them, and they also lose a lot to Immortals. Why? And if you're looking at the results most recently, I think that they're able to qualify with some heavy firepower with everybody that you have right now lined up in this roster for LG, but at the same time, they're trying different things. If you look at the last VCTs and the close qualifiers, we had Stellar that switched over to a Phoenix, for example, in Ascent, where he usually plays like a Smoke or a Sage even on that map. So they're testing things out, and I feel that this week for Masters, they're going to be able to tweak everything and put it together so that they have a strong form and a strong team versus Sentinels today.
And looking at the player to profile as well for LG, we mentioned that usually it's the duelists that you're looking at for some of these rosters, but in this case, it's not. We're looking at the player A Proto, Alex, who's not playing that duelist role.
Yeah, I might be a little bit biased why I want to talk about A-Proto, because his first name is my first name, so naturally we're all amazing and good. I put my crosshair based on this man, and I'm cracked with the Sheriff now. But A-Proto, for me, is going to be that player that is going to stop a star player that just joined Sentinels with TenZ. Because TenZ is going to most likely play a Jet, where he's going to dash, be like unorthodox, get into different sites, different parts of the sites when he's actually going to move in. Now, is A-Pro going to play the same style as Steel? Find those sweaty areas where you put the trap wires and trap TenZ when he's going to rush in and get those kills. That is going to be the most important matchup for LG to be able to contain such a star power as TenZ.
Now, looking at the maps, that's really what's going to dictate whether or not A-Proto will be capable, because some maps are just going to play really nicely towards his Cypher skill set, and others, like Icebox, not necessarily going to be comfortable territory for a Cypher main. So let's take a look at the maps. We've got Ascent, and we've got Split and Icebox. A little bit surprised here, Alex. This caught you off guard when you were prepping. You were saying, I think we're going to see Sentinels come out and ban Split, but they decide to pick it.
Yeah.
Could work out.
Yeah, the reason why for me I thought that we're going to get rid of Split was because it's a map that asks for a lot of coordination with the Raze and the Sage that they have in their strat book for Sentinels. And if you're already going to have Jet as TenZ play as Jet for now, and Shazam also usually plays Jet, who is going to take the role of that Raze? I don't think it's going to be Shazam, because he needs that coordination or that time and that brain power to tell his team what to do, right? He's the in-game leader for the team. But for them to keep it, they got something up their sleeve.
It's going to be rough.
You think we're actually going to make it all 3 maps potentially, Veli? You think this is a 2-0?
Yes.
I mean,
no, this is going to be a 2-1. So you take a look at the records for both teams, right? LG between Challengers 1 and 2, they didn't play Split, so we don't even know how they are there right now. But what I can tell you is that on Ascent, they have a 33.3% win rate. I had to throw the 0.3 up there, right? But you look at Sentinels, the next 2 maps, they dominate Split. They're 3-1. You take a look at Icebox, and they're 1-0 with a really good defensive record, 72% defensive win rate. I think that both teams are going to have it out for them, mostly Luminosity, for the simple fact that nobody knows, not even us, not even the casters, not even you at home, what Sentinels has planned, especially with the composition lineup.
Yeah, you know, I just love that, for me, we're going to coin it from TenZ and Friends to TenZ and Sens. I think this is going to look good, because TenZ hasn't had a chance to practice with the team yet, right? Yesterday he was streaming with like 30,000 viewers. Props to TenZ for that one too. But he mentioned it. We haven't practiced a single time because I was asked to play very last minute. So as you mentioned, Bach, this is going to be a very loose play style for Sentinels, where I think it's fine, because they already played that type of laid-back style, as it seems to appear when we're watching those the matches of Sentinels already. So I think it's going to be the same as Shanks with Immortals. TenZ, just go do what you need to do and have the other 4 players try to pick it up.
Let the dog off the leash and just let him go wild.
Exactly.
It seems like that could potentially work. Yeah, exactly. TenZ go kill. So, time for predictions. Veli, is it going to be LG or is it going to be the Tenzinels?
The Tenzinels, right?
I like that one too.
Before I give my prediction, this is all I have to say. He was tied for first when it comes to multi-kills. He was first place in kills per round. Top 3 in first bloods and clutches. And the list keeps on going. TenZ, in my opinion, can continue to be the best player in the game. And with Sentinels, it's going to be hard to stop him. I'm rocking with them 2-1 over Luminosity.
Alex?
I'm going to have to go with LG. LG is going to take this 2-1 just because I feel that Sentinels, they haven't practiced for it or for today, and LG might be ready for that one. They might be more constructed in terms of their strategies, and they're going to take this.
I got to be honest, man. I'm torn. I'm real torn.
It's hard.
Because my gut says LG should win this. Like, this team has been playing so well all year long. They're really stepping up their game. They've improved even over just the last couple of months that we've been watching them play. But at the same point in time, like, just look at the raw firepower that you get with this roster. I think I'm gonna go against my initial prediction, and I'm gonna side with Veli. I think this is gonna be a 2-1 Sentinels, and the reason I think that is I think we're just gonna see them come out swinging hard, and they're gonna surprise a lot of people with that firepower. But we'll find out in just a minute, as we do have our casters standing by. Esports Doug and Rivington ready to dive into the action. It's all yours.
Ooh, baby, I cannot freaking wait. Riv, I woke up a little earlier than I planned, and the first thing I thought of was TenZ.
Believable.
Sentinels, Luminosity. I can't go back to sleep. Lines right themselves. There's so much hype around this match. There's so many things we can talk about. Riv, what are some of the initial things that you're looking at?
I love that you point that out because the storylines are growing today for both teams as Luminosity it maybe sees a little bit of light in their future with Sentinels having now TENS in. But I feel like the Sentinels or the Sentinels with TENS story goes maybe one of two ways with no middle ground, right? You have this honeymoon phase where now you have TENS on the team. Everybody's going to play aggro. You're not second guessing any corners. Boom. You're aggressive on both sides and it goes in. Or it doesn't. You know, you've seen a bunch of firepower on paper before not be able to come together. Things just don't seem to mix. You lose one angle and then you don't know how to mix it up and vary it to find the way that Luminosity is getting in. If there's a middle ground, we're going to get a great game. But I feel like Luminosity could really take advantage here and find themselves moving on in the upper bracket.
We really don't know what we're going to get. I've thought a lot about, you know, this scenario and kind of how to best explain what's going on. And roll with me here, okay?
All right.
Just try with me.
I am prepped.
I need you to imagine the 96 Bulls, okay? 72 wins in a season, absolutely nuts. And then the day before the playoffs, LeBron joins the team. Right? And like there's no work that's happened ahead of time, but there's just so much firepower that was added. And you're right, this can look so many different ways. It's not like TENS is coming back from a structure where he just played like backyard football, right? And he doesn't have structure. He doesn't really know how to play in an organized way. I think we might be selling some of that short, to be honest. I think he should be able to slot in more complex settings than we're probably giving him credit for. It's not like Ethan with 100 Thieves.
Absolutely. You know, back in 96, I was really just thinking about how much less gray hair I had. But looking at TENS' past, there was a bit of back and forth with being on a team, not wanting to play that style, play his aggressive style, follow him. And I think maybe here with Shazam, with the rest of the team, that may actually be a little bit cleaner. He's matured quite a bit here in the past few years, splits, whatever. And he's definitely been able to show a bit more with the team and teamwork as opposed to kind of just being TENS on his own. And I think in this position as well, could show a lot for his future.
It really could. And, you know, on the flip side, we've talked a bit about Sentinels. Well, let's talk about LG, right? Like the storyline is how aggressive can they be with TENS? They're just going to let him off the leash. He's going to do Baby Bay 2.0. What's that going to look
possibility.
Like? Right. But like with Luminosity, it's not like they aren't structured either. There's actually a really good matchup on paper between these two teams and their styles that they normally bring to the table.
And let's talk a little bit about Luminosity as Sentinels and TENS got the early part of that chat. Such a team that can vary so much is what I wanted to say. You'll see a Proto on Cypher, the next map Raze, and the rest of the team has this power. And I feel like knowing what you're facing, having that second nature to realize what you're going up against, tap the bomb or tap the spike when you need to get into a situation, draw a molly. What's on the map really, really helps. And I think LG plays that cerebral game a bit around their default strats. You see them default a lot. They always go to each side. The spike is usually dropped, and then they'll grab it. It's a very cerebral team in that sense. And then they'll start to hit. A Thief, I love it. He likes to push. He likes to be on the front lines there, and you usually see Dre with him quite a few times. But my eyes are on Thief here to start off, and obviously TENS on the other side as we're coming out of Agent Select.
You know, a couple interesting things as we take a look at compositions and what we're going to be looking at for the next few minutes. So, recently, on Ascent, Stellar has not been playing Omen. In fact, he's been playing more Duelists, and it's actually Dre who's been playing the Omen. But this time, we've got a little bit of going back to what LG used to do, right? Like, historical LG was Dre on the Duelist, Stellar on the Omen. But again, off of some recent matches, they've swapped, but it looks like they're going back to what they know.
You know, why not? You know, if it's going to feel comfortable that way. I think Dre's been feeling really comfortable just being aggressive lately and making sure that he can open up the site for the team. He's had some great frags and just great high KDAs throughout some of the recent matches. One of the things about LG that worries me is their ability to really string together those wins when they need them or adapt within the game. A lot of what we see, the past 2 losses were 0-2s. The 2 wins before that were 2-0s. So it's kind of no middle ground, as I said before, and they gotta find some footing in the beginning, I think, to make it start to work. Here, again, Thief and Dre, getting their feet wet in mid. As I said, they may do so right off the bat here, Doug. They love the pressure. They love to make their opponents get sweaty in the beginning and find whatever angles they can push them off of. Dapper to open it up on Thief as he gets a little too curious.
A bit too curious indeed. He's going to drop numbers advantage in favor of Sentinels early on. Also, shout out to everyone behind the scenes who's brought us this dope new overlay. You love to see it. Dre gets onto Dapper, trades that kill out as it looks like Tens is trying to keep back the aggression across the middle of the map. You see the spike there. Pistol round goes absolutely chaotic as it drops down to a 3v3.
Slowly walking the spike back. They don't really want to commit to anything just yet here. And we do see Tens on that jet. So being able, we didn't really discuss it, but being able to see him get that position to still be very aggro. Obviously, Shazam's going to look to play the Sova here. So that works out. And they push in.
Left.
We're going to see that Moose is the first one. He'll be a bit of a sentry with low HP as long as he can get that initiator dart in. It's good to go. The curveball to answer. Shots from Sick and doing what he does best, opening it up for the team to have a bit easier of a chance to get in here. 3v2, Moose is low and Stellar at full health. And here comes the Molly.
Oh, the volley is good. That just buys him so much time, and then Sick goes in. He gets a beautiful 3K to secure the round for Sentinels. So well played.
Cheers. Well played as a team. I mean, you're coming in with a Sova, you're coming in with a Phoenix. There's no reason to go one by one. You have everything you need to retake that site. And Sentinels are a team that I just like almost just call the retake team all the time. When they play bind and they have a Cypher out, they'll throw traps in a site and just leave it there. Coming back in with their utility, high return on investment to find one of 5 opponents hiding somewhere in the site. And they utilize that so well. It's interesting to see if they'll keep doing that now with Tens in. If that's just kind of like, hey, our retakes are where we're at, and Tens will be happy with that. Judge for him, as it's going to be a bit of a sheriff role here on the side of Luminosity for round 2.
Nothing quite like a Jet with a shotgun in hand. Sentinels, as you mentioned, get the early round. That pistol, and now it's a bit of a slower look here from Luminosity. And Riv, this is what you mentioned prior to the map starting, right? Like they can be so defaulty, and you know that kind of carries a negative connotation. But you think about how much utility is drawn out from the opposing team due to that play style. It makes a lot of sense.
And you learn a lot, too. I think Luminosity, as I said, a cerebral team, likes to figure out what kind of precedent is being set by their opponents. Here, Tens being Tens, that's expected already. But you can see where they're playing, how they're rotating a little bit, or how fast they're rotating as a Proto comes up huge on the Cypher, taking off heads as he makes his way into B here. 50 seconds left in the round. The 4v3, and Luminosity making it very possible here to grab the second round of the half, or the first half.
And look at what Stellar just did. Stellar just paranoia is out, and you see both members that weren't there for Sentinels start to rotate over because they think the hit's on B. At the same time, Dre's already hightailed it the heck out of there. Moose is all the way back behind enemy lines. They have full control of each side. They're going to get that spike down, and if a Proto continues to cause problems, it's going to be devastating for Sentinels. 2 members left, Zoms in the newest addition, Tens.
Rolling through together. They got blind and smokes with this one. Oh, he holds it. Not enough classic with cheese on that, but your boy Dre is able to come up big there. The 3 sheriffs purchased are huge. The return on investment for a Proto, he almost makes the money back he fought with the sheriff. And now Sentinels on the back foot there as their buy made them feel good enough to hold some pretty forward angles. And Luminosity took advantage of that.
And you know, one of the things we didn't highlight a ton, and this is honestly one of the reasons why I love calling Luminosity matches, is a Proto and Thief, dude, with Sheriffs, they're unreal, right? Like, you almost expect in a 1vx, given the Sheriff in hand, that they're going to pull it off.
Yeah. It's interesting because you remember when Ascent came out, it was the Sentinels. That's basically the team that ran this map, and we have to see a very different look here, a paradigm shift in how they play. Pushing out, they will be aggressive, coming out with some Spectres and Classics. The Vandal firing from the top of mid here for Thief. He picks up a few. A heal coming in now as that overheal procs off, and they're going to be looking towards Tiles to possibly finish this one off. Tens patiently waiting, and you'll see the family photo waiting for him on Cat. They take a picture. Thief with the 4K, and it's just kind of the money's rolling in right now for Luminosity. We expected that round to be a quick one for Sentinels as they look to just do a little eco damage on the side of Luminosity.
Right, and that's why you saw them bunch up, push their way in through
Just
tree to try
deathball
to
it.
fight for the middle of the map. Yeah, you just kind of have to full send at that point and hope for the best. But that's another player, and I think as we continue to talk about Luminosity, we're going to continue to point to these 3 players because it really seems like if these 3 players are clicking, Luminosity's filthy, and that's a Proto, who we saw in the pistol, Thief, who we just saw, and then Dre, who's just a couple of points away from the showstopper. Moose also has the Hunter's Fury at hand, so they have plenty of options in front of them. But so, as far as ultimates go, so do Sentinels. Sick going to use the run it back. Going to get some info, but really not a ton else.
Nice call on that little outhouse hit. A lot of damage going over to Dapper. Or sorry, a Proto. And now they're just going to play this one patiently. They do have the ultimates. I was surprised to not see Moose kind of fire that one off as they were coming up. Ten's now Blade Storm for himself as he plays this one strong with another one for Sentinels. And they can play this one patient. I mean, they have a few ultimates on each side. You're looking at Moose's and you're looking at Tens. Depending on whether those go off, the spike can get down here. They have a lot of room to work with. But a Proto is going to be the first one in on the left side. They don't have drone as that was used on the other side on A. Looks like they still have quite a bit of utility to be used here, Doug. They're going to try to get in. Here it goes. Roomba's out.
Roomba's out. The dart's going to follow, and the paint shells as well. You see the Paranoia not going to connect onto anyone. As Sick has been left absolutely unscathed and unchecked around this corner. Now they start to funnel in. Sick again on that lane. Looking to see if he can spot anyone. It's actually Dapper who gets the first one. Shazam from back in Bo's house looking for a little bit of action as Sick gets another one. Tens continuing to light things up. A beautiful round, a flawless one at that, from the boys over at Sentinels.
Get caught up in the crossfire. That was so good, each side. And Doug, we have to point out, they just hauled it over to B, avoiding Tens after he opens up with a few on the round. He still has that dominance, and he still puts out the aggression from wherever he is. We'll see if he keeps being avoided. He's been in the same spot. He's not opping. He's not switching his spot. So he's been on Cat. Can expected to be expected to be there, and we'll see how this round plays out as we get into round 5. They are going to be going towards A. 10's pushing up here a little bit with Zoms to start off the round as they get a little bit better position.
Have a couple of ultimates there, and that opening pick onto Tens there is just beautiful, and Dre piles it on as well. 2 members of Sentinels already off the board. Sick kind of has to go aggressively here to try to push things back. He gets one in trade and then backs up, but with that, Luminosity have control of A.
Gonna go right for Tens this time, playing off possibly that set precedence of aggression. Yeah, we're gonna get a peek here. Let's peek from top and bottom, even if they get the smoke out. I like the forward utility, giving Sick and the rest of the team a little bit of trouble as they try to get in for this. Shazam gonna try to do what he can here. Maybe he saves at this point. He knows he's gonna start having a flank on him, so he may have to commit to what's in front of him for the time being. It's gonna be a quick 1-for-1 there. And Luminosity putting up some great defense here to start it off as we come up to our 6th round of the first half.
And, Riv, it looks like it might only get worse. They have 4 of 5 ultimates online. A Proto's just 1 away from the Neural Theft as well, so they're getting all of their resources available.
Yeah.
And on the other side, for Sentinels, if I'm not mistaken, they're capital B broke here. Oh, I was wrong. If this goes sideways, there's a very good chance that they will be.
Yeah. All right, see that? 1,900 credits for the side of Sentinels. That means they are on full bonus for loss. Forward dart here. Not too much mid work so far for Luminosity. They've been able to get a lot of what they want just from working A, just from working B, a few frags, rotations out of Sentinels, and then pushing the round forward. We spoke about, you just said how many ultimates are up. If they can cycle these ults, a few per round, they can consecutively get through what will be the buy rounds here for Sentinels and put them back on Eco. There's a showstopper coming in. Boy, Dre looking to get a little bit deeper, fires it to the back of Boathouse, won't get the kill. Sentinels doing a beautiful job of holding off LG as they try to get into the B site.
I mean, things went absolutely sideways. That showstopper should have gotten more effect out of it, and then the control that should have come from that should have opened things up for LG considerably. But again, just narrowly going sideways, but still, they're still in a very winnable situation here. It's not easy by any means, but it's certainly doable.
Yeah, I mean, he's facing less than 100 HP. So we'll see what he can do. He's got 33 himself, so it's going to be tough. I think he actually stopped the footstep just before he needed to, but maybe the timing's there. Doesn't pull the trigger. Zoms gets a little bit of that Omen diff to set in. And Sentinels tied up, Doug. It looks like we're going to go punch for punch here on these rounds.
Oh, and that's exactly what we wanted, right? Like, that's what you look at, a tale of the tape, a battle of the gods, if you will, and this is what you expected. And I think it's been a lot of the customers that we expected to be the ones popping off, right? You see Tens, you see Sick with kills across the board, first Sentinels, and then you've got Thief leading things considerably for Luminosity. So the right players are clicking for this to be a really good series, right?
All right, this is exactly what we wanted to see here. And another partial gun round coming out for the side of... Oh, no, Sick does have one as he just switches around to his weapons. Phantoms are going to be out. Sentinels feeling good on this. And this, for Luminosity, will be maybe half armor next round if they can't get through all the way with this. We already see Thief trying to do that as he gets both of his orbs in to be able to dismiss out. And they're just going to work this one slow again. I think LG really benefits from doing this all the time, especially when they feel like there might be more pressure than necessary. When they have hold of a team, LG will go forward. Thief, your boy Drake, going to be in your face all the time. But here, it's methodical, like you said before. They're working the spike super slow. It's going to be given to whoever needs that alt point. Maybe grab a few orbs if possible. And Sentinels are going to be putting up some great defense here. And if Luminosity can grab quite a few rounds here on attack, they know that's going to benefit them a lot.
This point here, if you're Luminosity, trying to find a way in. It is just Dapper here on the site. You see Tens kind of playing around the middle, but the majority of Sentinels investment is over by A, so they should have some room to work with. That's going to be the cue. The Hunter's Fury for Moose is going to be used, trying to tag up Dapper, knock him down, and that's exactly what he does. Tens, who was close by, also very quickly getting involved. The counter, oh no. Thief got behind enemy lines. He was able to take care of Tens, but then Sick does the same to him. Zombs with 3. There's just one member left on the side of Luminosity, and it's Moose. He's got to go fast. I don't know that he's got enough time, and then he's sandwiched in as well. The kill's going to come through. The time doesn't matter. A 4K for Zombs. Sentinels take the lead.
Zombs, whether it's the back of C on Haven or it's just there in the boathouse, he's so good at grabbing multiple kills when he has no right to be alive. He just created a 1v1 situation every time. Nobody could get the attack on him. And Zombs does it again. A 4K for him. Going to be able to get everything he needs to shore up. And we do see a bit of that buy-in, a little bit of light armor, as I was saying before, for Luminosity. They feel like they're okay. They're going hard with Sheriffs here and light. Let's see what they got. Thief's the only one without it, and he's hoping to get some overheal right away. Doug, they're pushing up a little bit more from the side of Sentinels. How close do they get?
Too close. Way too close. The Sentinels just stuffs them. Another flawless round. The Sheriff was not a difference maker in the hand of Luminosity this time. Beautiful by Sentinels.
I didn't think it was going to be that quick, but I feel like that's really good to see. Sentinels fans should be happy to see that they're not on the back foot at all. They're ready to play aggressive, especially on a round when you should be farming your opponents.
Yep.
And they were probably very happy to hear some Sheriffs going off on the other side in that round to go out so quickly. That still leaves them with a bit of money here on the side of the Luminosity Gaming Squad. You can see that they are buying up into Sheriffs, but they're down to a few zeros and 400s, under 1,000 there. So these are really going to start to hurt the economy if Sentinels can string these rounds together.
Seeing a bit of a different, bit more aggressive look, at least taking some space away. Sentinels is from Luminosity down B lobby. You saw the drone. You saw Dapper swing out with it as well. Make sure there are no shenanigans on the other side to kind of give them some room to work with. And again, given Luminosity's defaulty type, let's feel things out. Let's see what the opposing team is giving us, and then making a call. You get a good bit of info there. Sick, however, with the run it back, trying to control the middle, drops yet again.
It's a good choice. When things are this quiet, and you know you're feeling pretty good about hitting the sites, you still have a good amount of util to shut them down, you might want to just throw that run it back out there. See if you can get a frag, but also say, okay, no cat, no top mid, really. They're probably hitting a site pretty soon. And looks like the focus is going to be towards A. I like how they're keeping Dapper out to the side. Always smart to keep that flank. Whoa. Super close there as the bot gets dismantled right before going off. Moose takes down Tens. to start us off here after your boy Dre goes down to 8.
Great paranoia from Zoms to buy some more time. If you're Luminosity, you kind of have to go here. You don't really have enough time to flip the map, and Sentinels gladly welcomes them with open arms. It's a bloodbath as Sentinels walk away with 4, Luminosity picked to shreds.
All right. Almost a change of pace is necessary now. If Sentinels is figuring it out too much, they have too much time to set up or just leave Dapper somewhere with the use of Cypher on defense, right? Killjoy, you got to stay within range, you got to move everything around. With Dapper being able to just say, yeah, no one's here. I've checked B main. We've gone all the way out to garage, even checked outside B. That focus on A to cover becomes so easy. So I think Luminosity needs to do a little bit more to work within that rotation time. We have a tech pause coming in, and figure out how to scramble Sentinels a little bit. They feel so comfortable on their early angles. At least get them off that. Don't wait so long.
Well, and we saw some of that, right? A couple rounds ago, down a long 10s who had been peeking aggressively.
Right,
they
pushed up, hop the wall, double peek.
Exactly. We need more of that, and then even if it isn't, even if it's not that, and they kind of want to spice things up a little bit more, give them a little bit more heat, a little more flavor. Like give me a full send, right? Like hit a hard fast exec, just push Sentinels off a bit. Yeah, absolutely.
I like it. B is going to be a tough one. May try though. 3 off of a few of these. You do have a Protoss neural uplink. 10s switching up position just a little bit here as Blade Storm, if anything gets too hairy this round. You know he'll stay for a fight. He's good for it. Looking for a quick spam through the smoke to pick one up is Thief with that Sheriff. Has some lasers coming out today.
And he has control of A, right? Like Sick has to pull off, and they have to respect that it very well may be more than Thief. No, the shots go wide, and Sick punishes it. That, like, the jig's up. Sentinels, or excuse me, Luminosity have to reset the map here.
Happens to the best of us. It's so hard to shoot somebody whose movement is, unknown. And we see it there for Thief. He actually gets pickpocketed from a kill. 45 seconds on this. It's going to be B again. This round a little bit quicker, right? They had a bit of versatility to it. They've scrambled Sentinels a little bit more. And now it is up to Shazam. Hearing a few footsteps, he's going to make that call. Whether he chooses to go or not, or get help from the team, is a big question. He gets the first one. Oh, he's feeling it. He may just want it. The shots just go. Oh my God, haircuts everywhere. He's staying alive, down to almost half. That's going to be the shots coming in now. Proto gets 1. Proto gets 2 and almost cleans it up. But Dapper, always looking clean, coming in with the flank on his Cypher, is going to be able to clean that up. It did get kind of close, though. I think everybody was sweating there.
A Proto freaking giving me a heart attack, man. Like, he plays on that knife's edge all the time, and that's what I was saying earlier.
That was wild.
You put him in a 1vx with the Sheriff, and it's almost like, I mean, he could, right? Like, maybe. He very well may. But Sentinels, through the very dangerous moment, walk away with plenty of money, a 4-round lead. They're going to have an op in the hands of 10s, which we haven't seen a ton of here. It looks like he might get an early chance. So Proto pushes forward. Has to step back.
Whenever somebody who opts like 10s or Shazam or something, I always feel like we're on a safari and you're like, there he is, now in his environment, looking to find his prey. You're just waiting for these kills to come in. We'll see what he can get out here. If the safari car goes by 10's location at all. 1 minute here. Everybody from the same look. This gets so scary. You do have some traps up on your flanks here, but not knowing who's coming up mid or right behind you. You got to keep looking over your shoulder. Check your 6 every so often. Will they get... I love the way the Sentinels is playing here. Will they peek? Will they not? Luminosity always trying to find a bit with each location they get, but it's not until the site do they find that defense.
Yeah, and at this point, I mean, the teammates have arrived. It's going to be a straight-up 3v3 here. Blade Storm's involved, but you got to keep an eye on Moose. If Moose can stay alive, that Hunter's Fury really could secure them the round. Thief slowly making his way forward. Gets the best of 10s. Another filthy shot as he takes Stick out as well. Shazam getting the best of him into a 1v2. Shazam historically very good in situations like this. Good for 1, but a Proto extinguishes the threat. Very well played. Luminosity get to 4.
Doug, you know, with those rounds, it's only a matter of time, right? Yep. We saw a Proto do that last round, and he was just one short. Thief able to do it this round. You're consistently seeing the power that LG brings to the table just with a single player alone. Combine a few of those, and they're going to start stringing those rounds together. Sentinel's been doing a great job at getting those impact frags out early, though, to make sure Thief and a Proto aren't able to do that every single round.
It's just, I mean, knife's edge every single time.
Yeah.
Dre, 1 point away from the showstopper. See if they try to feed him that ult orb on a long. Thing is, you've got Zombs there. Great use of utility to clear out any sort of defensive shenanigans. But once again, we're seeing this run it back. Taking so much space. Sick. Get the kill, too. Gosh, that's beautiful.
He thought he could play him off hitting the wide angle, too. Looks like they're going to be hitting A-Dug.
They are. There's from the shadows getting info, and he's going to get behind them too. You've got to be careful, but I guess it doesn't really matter if Sentinels can hold it down themselves on the site. Forget the reinforcements, but Dre, with the showstopper that we talked about earlier, getting one, things fall apart for Luminosity as Sentinels walk away with 3 remaining.
Switching sides.
Oh. I felt my dinner come up. I just saw your boy Dre disintegrate tens. That was brutal. Oh my word, that's just showing. You always gotta love a showstopper that hits right on target. Good defense as they got into the site throughout the rounds as we see this replay. That's when you were speaking on, we were talking LG getting aggressive. They were finding a few more rounds because they were playing off a bit of predictability. We saw tens on Cat a lot. Well, let's push up fast, maybe he'll be here. And then these rounds, the one before that from a Proto, and that one right there from Thief is the reason we're at an 8-4, which gives them a bit of padding if Pistol does not go their way. But Luminosity need to pick it up here.
They do indeed on the defensive side here. No early aggression, no fully sending either which way, which would honestly be a bit uncharacteristic of Luminosity at this point. But Sentinels, they've already sent a couple of Cat. Dapper has taken the middle of the map. Looks like they're going to want to go towards A here, Riv. Oh boy.
Close play by Dre for hearing so many footsteps. Kind of puts himself right there in the frying pan. Moose, though, makes up for it with a twofer. And Tens is going to answer back. A nice overheal from Thief. He's going to be loving that as he waits for the rest of the team. You have the Cypher Cam to come in if that's on cooldown. And maybe a Paranoia to be used here. No, actually, just another smoke to come out. That Dark Shroud on top. Paranoia did get thrown out as soon as I looked down to see his util. And now they're in here for the defuse. Just wide right, looking to the left, doesn't have enough. And it's going to be Stellar that comes through. A little classic with cheese onto Shazam there. And what a round from Luminosity. They take it slow for a moment and able to get just quick the instant defense once they got back in.
Yeah, and you even mentioned early on Dre playing that type, but it was once again Luminosity and their pistols, man.
Yep.
You can't count them out. Moose opens up with 2 big ones. Thief gets a couple as well.
Boom.
And then at that point, great wherewithal by Luminosity to understand that the best way to avoid some shenanigans from like stopping a defuse through a smoke or anything like that is you kind of have to run at them.
Yep.
Exactly what Stellar does, gets the kill and wins them the round.
I like it. Keep Sentinels on the back foot. Let them know you're serious. That was destroyed. So they know there's at least one. But with how far back they have pushed, they don't want to peek that without any more util. Here's the Owl drone out. And that's going to spot a few here in tiles. Hello.
I think Drain, a great spot too here as he's taking up some authority through tree, but the middle of the map is not open for the taking for Sentinels. Luminosity push through. They drop a couple. The spike is down there as well. A brutal spot for Sentinels.
Oh, what a pinch here. They're just like, they don't know which way to look right now. Luminosity knows they have the upper hand. With only a few shots in each one of those revolvers, they can instantly move the cavalry forward to take that round 8-6 as we're moving into round 15 here. Those were the ones you expect if you grab pistol, and Sentinels did kind of hold back on what they were getting, just some sheriff. So Phantoms in hand. Util looks good across the board, right? Only no wall for Phoenix, just that Molly. And Dapper, I believe, has already set his down. Yeah, I was going to say he doesn't have anything, but no, he's good to go.
Yeah, and I think for Luminosity here, you want to try to pad this bonus as much as you can, right? If you can steal this round away, and you, all of a sudden you get to 8-7, Sentinels is in a brutal financial spot, and all of a sudden you're talking about 8-8, the map changes, right? For the 8-4 half that Sentinels had early on, where Luminosity oftentimes looked lost, This could easily go the other way, but I love this positioning from Thief. Utility to push Sentinels back, let Thief get into a cheeky spot and potentially blow things up. Good for one, great trade from Tens.
They get the Bulldog out. Not going to need that. And no ultimates really on deck either, so everything's about utility and who can make the shots. Smoke and dash in as they try to create space in A. Tens makes that happen as Dre goes down. Zoms just on the other side playing cat and mouse there with Stellar. Nobody's going to peek the smoke right away. Spike's going to go down in A. Another retake here coming in from LG. Now this one tested with full-on rifles for both teams. And most of it's coming from Tree here. Let's see how they take it.
And Riv, I want to draw attention to this because this is where Luminosity really had their glow up. Right at the beginning of the year, it was in their ability to retake specifically against Sentinels. But now that Tens is in the fold, I don't know that you're going to be nearly as effective as you were before. The ace is stolen, but it doesn't matter. Sentinels hold fast.
He's like, no, can't let the new guy get an ace just yet. That's not how it works. Tens on it. Maybe, you know, honestly, that is just good return because that's another, I'll point out, Tens has Blade Storm, so why give him another one? So just playing it smart over funny. And yeah, you're right. That the retake for LG is powerful, but that was a different composition that they were facing when they were able to get those consecutive rounds. And Sentinels do stop the bleeding here on their first gun round. Let's see how bad they put Stellar and the rest of the Luminosity squad back as they are on another rifle round. It's going to be some util going on both sides to see how they pull some of this out. And Sentinels is down for dropping the spike as well, we've seen on the beginning of these rounds.
Interesting. Once again, Luminosity playing primarily off-site, being willing to at least, without them knowing, give up a lot of the middle of the map. But now things have been given away. Tens is tagged up. He understands that a camera's there. They have a really good idea of where the hit's going to be, given where the middle of the map was. The paranoia is going to come out onto the site as it looks like they're all drawing their attention over towards B. You've got the Reyna playing the middle of the map just to be safe, but Stellar's left unchecked. He shoots a couple right in the back of the head. Tens dashing around, not going to matter. Moose gets him. Dre gets onto it as well as he's looking to take the last member of Sentinels off the site. It's Shazam in a 1v3. Well, that a 1v2, no longer going to be around. Thief takes care of them. Luminosity get to 7.
You know, I don't think there was any doubt that once Sentinels got on attack, it's going to be a little bit easier. And I think Valorant lends itself to that with having the agents, right? You have somebody come in, you know what that agent's going to do. You know what Tens is going to do on Jet. And as long as the team is there, right, you play around that in the instance. It's not like he's just hiding or flying into A by himself. So I feel like Sentinels might get a groove here that makes it real tough for Luminosity to come back. We'll see here coming into this next one. That was a quick round coming in. Curveball and everyone pushing forward could signal another quick one. As we have a few Phantoms here for the side of Sentinels on that on the attack side. And they're going to go in with the Blade Storm as well.
Yep, the paranoia from Stellar was there as well, and a couple of shots from the Bulldogs secure the kill onto Tens. Blade Storm no longer in effect, but Sentinels have control of the site. Zom should be able to get the spike down. Members of Luminosity have now started to arrive. This is, again, the spot where they shine in retakes in a disadvantageous situation as far as personnel goes. What can they do?
Kind of util will help them get in. They just have there's so many more angles to check when you don't have the numbers here, but they're gonna try, even with that Empress on. Zoms finds 2 again. Try it and true coming out of him if anybody's trying to get to his location, and Sick locks the last one down as Dre falls. And the run away with rounds begins here for Sentinels. Feeling good on attack. This is one of the reasons they called them as Sentinels in the beginning. It just seems like they can find a way around their opponents. And it's almost like nobody goes down before they're even in the site. And you're like, oh, wait, that's happening already? They just seem to, they have that on every opponent they play.
Also worth noting, of all the members of Sentinels, Tens is ironically the only one rocking the clan tag on the front of his name. Look at that early aggression. Oh, look at the aggression. They shut up the middle of the map. They go all the way down B-long as well, and Sentinels are just sitting there like ducks. No room to breathe, nowhere to go, and they've already dropped 2.
Right to mid. Are they going to... No, he's not going to take it. A little undecided now that they lost so many. You see Sick walking around mid with a bunch of his teammates' bodies there. So he's just trying to skirt around him. 1 HP for Thief. That would have been a unicorn play, honestly, if he takes down Tens with that quick headshot. Sick's able to grab himself a Phantom as well. They regroup. They have a very, very good chance on taking this round, the 3v3 here. And I think you leave a Proto by himself here. 1 mid, 1 B, play for the regroup. And that's all it is. 1-1-1 if you ever have the possibility to do it. As long as the other team's not pushing through, you're good to go. A lot of util here to be used by Sentinels, and B is the word.
Interesting that they chose, knowing that they only had pistols, to invest that. Oh, okay, Moose good for 1. Sick trades him out. Now dropping down to a 2v2. Folks, remember this is a pistol for Luminosity. They invest the showstopper early on. They show some heavy aggression, and they get to a point where this is certainly winnable. The one difficult thing to swallow here is no Hunter's Fury online for Luminosity.
Once they check that left side for main, I think they're good to go. They watch each other's back for a moment. Smoke's nice and deep in there, so they don't have too much area to work once they come out of it. They know somewhere on the right. Smoke's another one. Have to get at least a tap down to pull them out of their position, but they're still trying to play the fight a little too long. And you got the molly to work with anyways. It's really not going to matter. They knew they had to get the kills, so that was the option to go for. 11-7 here. Sentinels again find their way into the site. Strangle out Luminosity. But we'll have to see what happens here on the next gun round. A few ultimates up here as well. Stellar's ult as well as that Hunter's Fury, as you were saying, now back online. And maybe they can do some preventative work. Maybe they wait for that plant to go down. We'll see how they use it.
Oh, I mean, we saw just in this last round, granted it was their pistol, but we saw that they're willing, right, to cook up a little spice, to make something flashy happen. Now that they have a couple of these ultimates online, how are they going to choose to play this out? You see Moose kind of waiting back, knowing he has a Hunter's Fury, knowing he can reach far areas of the map if he plays around the middle, really just kind of keeping that as an option, keeping that in his back pocket. I imagine you get some info. And Moose has shown that he has no problem using a Hunter's Fury either entirely dry or just off of the slightest bit of info. Yeah,
you can do it here, right? There's no Killjoy. You don't have to worry about a lockdown. Maybe you have to worry about another Hunter's Fury, but you know that's not up. And we see Sentinels working here once again towards A slowly, and it's got to be said, 10s, 19, and 15 top fragging. There's another 19 behind him as well on the scoreboard with almost 20 here in his first game with Sentinels. It doesn't matter, I think, who he is, where he is, or I should say what agent he's on, or where he is, not who he is. He's always 10s. In that sense, that's amazing to see. That says a lot about who he is, how he plays, and what situations he can play in. All
right, here we go. Sick, using the run it back. And it looks like, it's a fake. Riv, it's a bloody fake. They used the run it back. They used it from the shadows as well to think that the hit's going on A, and they're biting onto the bait. You see him start to pull off B is entirely open. Sentinels have gotten on there for free, and they've been able to take aggressive positioning to stop the rotations, to stop the cutoffs. The one problem is that Six on the other side of the map, he's going to have to get on his high horse, scurry over to make it to get a chance to have an impact on the play. The spike is down. Shazam waiting just on the other side. He's got great information if he can just be patient. No, but Moose gives him the business.
Oh my God.
Drops as well, and now it's Sick, who was late to the show in a 1v3. It's a winnable one. He's good for 1, but Dre stops it. He's going to get the defuse as well. Sentinel showed something spicy, and Luminosity hold it off just fine.
I love explosions.
That... I actually thought that Moose used his ult a little too early, but he knows exactly what he's doing. Caused beautiful, beautiful displacement in the site. The rest of the LG roster was able to run in here, and really that wasn't even a util retake. They were finding everything off of aim, off of trades, and confidence of making their way into the spike site. This is the time you have to make a run for that tie, for whatever. I mean, for the game you have a chance for now. And we'll see if LG plays it a bit different. Hearing some running over here at A, LG, your boy Dre is going to make sure that he's right with a Roomba out there. So they have a little bit of intel to start, but it's still going to be that default split for Sentinels.
No early aggression towards B. Very unlikely that we see this neural theft anytime soon in the hands of a Proto. as Sentinels have really invested all of their attention towards A. They have cat control as well. The one thing is, you see, there's certainly the possibility. Okay, they're fully committing here. The spike is in hand, going up A long, but you have 2 members of Luminosity. They're hanging a tree, but if their attention's elsewhere, they're going to get caught. Looking around, Zomb's good for 1 already.
He's watching that tree area, has a nice flank. The team's made it fully into the site. Flame walls up, and they can just hang out now and allow this to tick down. So it's now for LG to regroup. Here comes Dart going in. Nice. 1 underneath. They're able to find 10s. That's kind of a mistake there that he misses it coming in. What will happen is LG comes through. Where are they stronger? Sick and Shazam able to trade 2, and it's not going to be enough so far from LG. A Proto and Stellar doing their best as they are the last 2.
They weren't the last 2. Well, I guess they were ultimately the last 2. They just weren't around for very long as Sentinels gets to match point.
Yeah.
Luminosity again in a position where they could have retaken the site. They had the pieces there, but excellent use of utility from Sentinels, and their shots were crispy clean, as you have grown to expect from this squad. I mean, Riv, a really good performance across the board here for Sentinels.
It is. Look at that. All the way, you got a triple-double there on Shazam. Looking pretty nice. You always love to see that. And the rest of the team, like I said, I was kind of going to go one way or the other. It's like the holiday phase where everybody feels good. You know, you got 10s on the team. He's going to be able to hold his own. You don't have to worry or put a leash on this guy to say, hey, wait. Okay, no, that call was wrong. He's playing as a Jet should. And I kind of referenced that earlier. You know what a Jet needs to do, and 10s is maybe one of the best out there. So, yeah. Let him roll on that spot. And you're right. Everybody's playing well across the board with that confidence coming into the team, even with the swap before Masters here. Spike's planted. Dapper toying here. Cypher diff, toying.
Oh, no, bro.
He did
Come
it to
on.
him. He did it to him. That's all right. Now they're in A. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, 2 members left for Luminosity to try to keep the map alive, and so far, Dre and Moose get a couple. Dre gets another one. A 1v2, Moose left alone. He's got a Sheriff. Surely he doesn't stick. The Diffuse gets it to half. He's got a chance here, playing a little ring around the Rosie, and it's not going to happen. Dapper wins the gunfight for Sentinels. Sentinels take Ascent 13-8. A statement made with the new roster, with the addition of 10s, and man, honestly, it looks like they didn't skip a beat.
They looked like they were real strong. After the first few, they knew what they wanted to do. It seemed like LG did figure out, hey, 10s is going to push still. He's being 10s. We can take advantage of that on Cat. They took advantage of it a few times. And then the default, I think, started to hold LG back a bit. Watching their past maps, they were very big on variety in what they were going to do. That default sent Thief mid. That default sent Thief somewhere else with Dre focusing a Roomba on B while they knew they were getting a rotation. It didn't seem like any of that window was being used this time, and maybe just a slow start coming in and not knowing what to do against, you know, a team that kind of doesn't have a record at the moment of Sentinels.
Yeah, and I think another thing worth mentioning for Luminosity is you highlighted it best, Riv. It felt like it was just a matter of time, right? In the first half, 2 or 3 different instances where a pistol in the hands of one of those players was like borderline breaking the internet, hitting the front page of Reddit, but it never really fully manifested.
Right. And I think that's what we see out of Luminosity, where you're like, okay, there's those rounds, right? This was an eco. They dropped 4 of those, doing a ton of eco damage on Sentinels. But if they could just get that round, you know, the round where a Proto almost gets a few, and then Thief's able to get the next one, but it does take insta double kills and a finish off, you know. Those fast ones are coming in for LG, and they're beginning to get them racked up together. But it's taking time because Sentinels is going to keep putting the pressure on. I think Sentinels is recognizing that's where LG is falling apart, is when they're swarmed in that chaos.
A 13-8, I mean, again, a pretty map across the board for Sentinels, split just on the other side. Folks, we're going to cut to a break. When we return, the desk is going to break down everything they saw in Ascent. Don't go anywhere.
Verizon believes everyone deserves the best. That's why we start with 5G from America's most reliable network.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Then give families plans to mix and match, so you only pay for what you need starting at $35.
You get so much more than this, a great network.
And offer the best in entertainment on select unlimited plans, like Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus, as well as Discovery Plus, with a Galaxy S21 Plus 5G when you buy one. There's no reason to settle for less than the best. Only from Verizon.
Let's go. Apply now at redbullcampusclutch.com.